What is up? Ashley Wright here from Social Tail. I am the founder and CEO of one of the fastest growing TikTok shop agencies. We focus on brands within the US, UK, and in the European markets. And we've done over 80 million on TikTok itself. So within this video, we're going to break down exactly what it takes to become profitable on the platform. This is what I call the TikTok shop profitability playbook. And we're going to go through everything because again, TikTok shop is a channel that yes, you can be profitable, but you need to kind of figure out how you get to that profitability because again, there are a lot of brands who are jumping on the platform, want to become profitable from day one, and it's probably not going to be the right way to kind of look at it. So hopefully after this video, you'll basically get in terms of what you need to do to be able to scale efficiently and effectively on the platform today. So let's get into this. So we're going to talk about the TikTok shop profitability playbook right now. Let's just go into this piece of content. So with this here, what we're going to show you is exactly what it takes to become profitable on the platform. So what I always say with TikTok shop is you've got to understand the role of TikTok shop, okay, for it to be a profit engine. So again, before looking at anything, you need to look at your margin models to be able to establish if TikTok shop first of all is going to be right for your business, because again, if your profit margins are at 10%, then again, the answer to your question is probably maybe TikTok shop is not right for you. So again, you need to answer this first of all to be able to make sure that TikTok shop can be self-sustainable from a financial perspective. And again, if you have to go to your CFO and obviously justify it, it needs to make sense in black and white because the data doesn't lie. So again, the KPIs from this, obviously you have to look at your net profit per order, your contribution margin, the cash generated, i.e. GMV, and your net profit, and then that payback period in terms of when you become profitable. And then with that strategic decision, you want to make sure that obviously you're tight commission control because again, people are just flying and adding out commissions everywhere. Your early shipping optimizations, discounters, because again, we're looking at them because they can obviously eat your margins, and then scale only when it makes complete sense. So looking at this, again, I always break this down. So again, define what TikTok shop means to you and your brand. So again, rank in terms of what you want, because again, I believe that you want to have all of this, but again, profit, this definitely is going to be number one, but how big of that is it going to be a driver in terms of, do you need to be profitable, which means your GMV might not be able to scale as effectively. So again, you've got to look at in terms of what makes sense and understand that these can all play a bigger part to the actual brand ecosystem rather than just siloing TikTok shop overall. So again, that profit engine, so again, focus on that direct profitability, that halo side of things, so again, driving awareness to your other channels, that content factory, which again, I always say you can utilize that content, whether it is for your meta, whether again, it's utilizing that content for UGC on, like say, your Instagram and stuff like that as well. Or again, market expansion layer. So again, if you are looking to become bigger and established in other geos, stuff like that as well. Or again, making it a channel mix for the next 12 months. Again, these are what you want to look as in terms of for your role before looking if profitability and how it works from that side of things. So again, like I say, we looked at this previously, so I'm not touching this again, but again, these are key metrics and strategic levers that you want to move. And again, obviously you can just take a shot of this or pause here so you can look at these in more depth. But with that being said, we want to look at the Halo channel to begin with. So again, driving that broader growth. So again, TikTok shop, obviously Amazon, retail, D2C. So again, are you going to get that branded search lift? Because again, it will work. We see every time something goes viral and starts selling well on TikTok shop, that brand lift always picks up on whether it's Google or whether it's Amazon. That's going to always help. The Amazon ranking movement, your DT conversion rate, and then again, your repeat purchase across other channels. That's something that people are just forgetting right now as well. Are people buying from TikTok shop and then maybe later on coming back and buying from the website? So there's a few ways how you can actually look into this. Again, I can probably make another video on this a bit more broader, but what you want to be doing is you can take your TikTok shop orders, you can then export them out because again, if you don't get the full information, but you will get a certain line in terms of obviously address and that side of things. So what you want to be able to do is maybe depending on when your kind of look back period is, or when you kind of tend to see people repurchase again, you want to take that data and then you want to see if you can match that up within the next 6 months to see if there are then repeat customers within your ecosystem. So again, it can definitely be done. There's a lot of automations that can be done in that. So again, I'll probably make another video on that if it is a demand. And then again, just in terms of strategic decision for a Halo channel. So again, you want to tolerate lower on-platform margins because again, you know that obviously if you can scale and get that awareness, the low CPMs on TikTok Shop, and it allows everything else to scale. You might be able to bring your ROI down on TikTok Shop when, again, like I say, to scale GMV more aggressively. Again, many brands are doing that because they know if they do well on TikTok Shop, they might lose a little bit of money or break even, but they know all the other channels are going to obviously be profitable from that side of things. So again, being able to do this, again, you want to implement strict controls to prevent obviously excessive loss. And again, you might be losing a bit more at the beginning, but again, it does start to grow up and go in that kind of that model. And from then onwards, again, she's evaluating how success looks from a holistic view, because again, I speak to brands that just are just a tunnel vision siloing TikTok Shop as a one size fits all. But again, you want to have your individual P&L for it, but also how it plays into that wider picture. And then again, looking at content factory. So again, your UGC engine, I like to call it. So again, when you use TikTok Shop as a content factory, it obviously helps you to then shift the leverage, and again, allows you to scale more aggressively from a content perspective side of. So again, with this, again, yes, you also want to look at GMV and that side of things, but again, you maybe want to have the secondary KPIs in terms of, okay, how many videos per week can we then utilize on different channels? How many creators are we activating? So again, you want to be looking at these definitely, but again, if halo effect is the bigger picture, you want to maybe have like a line for this. So again, you can see this, and then again, start to measure your actual meta ads, for example. Is your CPA coming down? So again, you can say, okay, well, CPA is coming down, even though we're investing X into TikTok Shop, it's allowing us to spend more on Meta, for example. So again, you can start to then justify that spend into the TikTok Shop ecosystem for you to allow to spend more on TikTok Shop, and then obviously allow you to spend more on Meta, which hopefully then become more profitable because your CPA drops down, your ROAS jumps up on TikTok, on Meta as well from that side of things. So then again, you want to start to look at samples as a media investment, and again, measure cost per usable asset more than obviously just a cost per send out sample. And then again, you want to look at the overall ROI from TikTok Shop and Meta and bring them both together. And then awareness piece, because again, right now we're speaking to so many different enterprise and legacy brands right now. And again, some of them are just wanting to get that new audience into the kind of mix. So again, you want to kind of figure out, okay, how can we use this as an awareness piece? So again, reach is always going to be massive. So again, you can see all your video views, see your reach, and again, looking at that kind of share of voice. And again, how much is it costing you to reach 1,000 new audience as well, right? So again, working out your CPMs, what that looks like from an awareness standpoint. And again, the great thing is you're going to probably be making sales from this as well. But again, starting to look at these lower KPIs, again, allows you to see, okay, does this make sense? So again, optimize for velocity, except that you might have a lower early efficiency, which I always believe is always the case. But again, if you're getting like 1 million views, let's say hypothetically per week, per month, then again, you kind of justify that because you are getting in front of more users who will obviously then start to know your brand. And then again, if they're going into maybe Walmart or Ulta, again, they'll be like, oh, I saw this brand already on TikTok Shop, I'm going to purchase it in store. So again, it's always figuring out that side of things. So again, design this for a profitable end state. So again, awareness is that top layer, but again, later on, you want to funnel down to become profitable. And I would say TikTok Shop breaks at scale, not at launch. So again, the great thing is at launch, you kind of get away with kind of not optimizing too much. But then again, when you start to scale up, that's when it starts to break. So you want to make sure that the fundamentals are there, because again, in the Profit Engine playbook, this is kind of the assumption. So again, obviously you've got your strategy, you've got your activity. So again, leads to profitability and blueprint foundation. So again, even if TikTok Shop starts at awareness level or halo effect, it must meticulously be designed to get that clear path to be profitable. Because again, I believe that you don't want to be running it at a loss continually. But again, you want to make sure that maybe your runway might be 12 months, it might be 6 months. So again, you just wanted to be able to define that certain purpose so you can have that sustainability on the actual platform. And again, like I mentioned, so again, most brand models treat TikTok Shop like a test channel, low risk. But again, the real challenge isn't if it's visible at, isn't visible at 100 orders. When you start to scale to 10,000 orders and above. So again, if it only works at 100 orders, it might break at 10,000. So again, keep this in mind when looking to scale. So this is what I kind of want to break down. So again, I'm kind of just utilize this. Again, this is in GBP, but again, use the dollars or euros, whatever that kind of looks like. So again, our reference for this, we're going to kind of talk about an average order value of £36. COGS, let's just say with everything in packaging, £13.50. So again, pre-platform margin 62.5%. So again, this right here represents a solid product with healthy unit economics before platform reality sets in, I always say. So again, you want to make sure that your pre-platform gross margins are high, because again, 60 to 80% is kind of the sweet spot. Anything below 50%, it starts to get tough, because again, when you start to factor in that, I like to say the TikTok reality, your platform fees, which again, let's say average 7%, your processing fees. So again, pre-creative profit, £36 minus your $13.50 for your cogs and packaging, minus your platform fee, minus processing fees. So you're already here down to £19.18. So again, this is what you're actually going to be actually scaling, right? So again, everything else, whether it's commission, your samples, it comes out of this number here. So again, you don't scale gross margin, you scale what's left after the platform takes its cut. So again, this is what you need to be figuring out. Does it make sense that you can go aggressively with this? Because if not, it might be the case that, okay, your AOV is 36. Maybe we need to add another piece into the pie. Maybe it's a certain of a product, or making it a bundle. So again, not necessarily doubles, but maybe that £36 goes to £50. So again, we can make sure that our profit margins are continuing to high. And again, our pre-creative profit is also high from that side of things. But again, this gives you an idea of where we are beginning from. And then from then onwards, again, we're just working out this in hypotheticals. So again, these numbers are on a low case scenario, but again, it just makes it a lot easier for you to be able to calculate from this side of things. So again, let's just say, for example, most brands obviously just send out samples willy-nilly, but again, this is your key way of looking at it. So again, just thinking of this as more on a weekly perspective, okay? So let's just say you're sending out 100 samples, okay? This is to all your creators who are doing really well. And let's just say hypothetically, it would probably be higher than this, but again, 95 creators activate. So again, they receive and they create content. Okay, and then within that week, 55 videos are posted, ready to go. And again, let's just say hypothetically 290 orders are generated. So again, working out, again, these are hypothetical as well. So again, just utilize this format and put your numbers into the mix, right? So again, let's just say, for example, here, your sample cost landed is £4.75. Your weekly sample spend with them being it's £760. Orders generated is 290, again, just hypothetically we're speaking. You can take this and just look at your data if you already run on TikTok Shop, or again, to give you an idea. But again, this kind of gives you an idea that our sample CAC is basically £2.62 per order. No one's thinking like this. Brands are not looking like this, operators are not thinking like this. This is what you need to be looking at to see if it makes sense. That, okay, is okay, it's a good side of things. But again, this CAC sits alongside your paid ads, social and everything. So again, it's not a sunken cost. It's a measurable channel input that either performs or it doesn't. Okay. So again, when you look at it like this and break down, you can start to make sense. Okay. Well, £2.62 per order. That's perfect. I can continue to scale this quite dramatically if that is the case. But then when we look at that high commission, so this is kind of when we move into it. So again, launch, I would say within the first 3 months, you don't want to be looking at profit. It shouldn't be a thing. It's just all about a signal. So again, I would recommend, if possible, you want to set a higher commission. I would say between 20 and 30%. I would like to go for now 26%. The reason for that is because everyone's doing the 0 or 5 at the end. So if I come in at 26%, again, it's going to stand out a little bit more to the creators, right? So again, launch case scenario, let's say duration, the first 60 days. Again, with our target collabs, we can then emphasize more, okay, this is our 26% launch commission. We're only running this for 60 days, jump on board. So again, it allows to get creators and get that FOMO effect as well from that side of things. So again, keeping this in mind here, again, this hypothetical kind of scenario, 26% commission rate, duration first 60 days, and let's just imagine we get 1,650 orders in that period. So again, what we'll find is maybe top creators will drive 58% GMV, probably going to be higher than that. But again, the media conversion was 2%, and then the winning cohort is 2.9% to 3.4%. So again, you're not scaling at this level, you're just building out the landscape. So again, we're identifying who out of these creators can win, so we can start to move them into the next kind of side of things. So again, this is why I like to say this is just a high commission. It's basically just our research kind of model, figuring out what concepts, what creators work. It's not going to be sustainable forever. Okay, so again, it's just the first thing what you want to do when launching on the platform or launching with a new product as well. It's the same kind of strategy you can utilize for it. So again, phase 3, you always want to pay for performance, not potential. And this is where I believe a lot of brands go wrong. Again, they want to kind of have this big budget and start to pay for the creators just because they got high GMV on a different product or a different brand. But I would say is that if your product is not established, going and paying someone a 5K retainer straight from the off might not be the best use of your money. It might be better splitting that 5K over multiple different creators and getting just everyone to create the same concept and having that more of a launch method before jumping on the platform. So again, that's what we kind of want to figure out. So again, flat fees reward, I believe at the beginning, mediocrity and penalize efficiency. Unless you've got great creators who you work with and trust and know, it could be a little bit different. But then what you want to do is, once you find creators, you then want to have that tiered commission, which then starts to align your incentives and protects your margin over time as well. So again, keeping in mind, like I say, we worked on that flat 26%. So again, working back on this hypothetical scenario here, £19.18 is our pre-creator per profit per order, right? So again, commission from this, we're looking at £9.36. Okay, so again, it's pretty high, right? So again, that profit remaining now, £9.82. So again, we're starting to shrink down, okay? So again, this works the first 60, 90 days because it's just for discovery, but it's not sustainable. So again, we just want to pay to get data. We're going to start to get sales, start to get reviews, and start to work with these creators. Then what we want to move to is we want to then move to a tiered structure. So again, we want to have like a testing tier, which again, we move creators into. So again, new creator unproven, 12 to 15%. And then the scaling tier would be like 18 to 20%. So again, that blended target for the creators is going to be around £6.48. So again, this is how you can see the difference. Your profit is now £12.70. So again, this is why it is not linear on TikTok Shop from a profit perspective, because again, you can maybe lose a little bit to begin with to get that velocity, get that momentum. And then again, once you start to get that, you can then build that tier structure, which then allows you to build in your profit from that side of things. So again, what we look here at, and again, you might need to watch this a few times because again, I speak fast, and again, there's quite a lot of stuff that goes into this. But again, this right here now, we see now a £2.88 lift per order. That's the incremental profit unlocked through the tiering. And again, the monthly impact here, again, is at 8K orders is 23K. So again, once you annualize this, you are actually recovering over 276K. Okay, so keep that in mind when you start to work this out, because again, I think too many brands launch on the platform, they keep their high fees for a long period of time, and then again, it doesn't make sense and they start to pull back, but it's too late because they've already lost a lot of money before time. So again, making sure you do this strategically is definitely the way for it. Again, always pay for conversions, not the potential. And again, if you don't understand this, shipping is the quiet killer, which again, I always believe is always the case. So again, you want to always have two different scenarios in place. So again, fulfillment doesn't feel like something you need to be looking into. And again, you want to make sure it makes sense, because again, the unoptimized ways, again, obviously just pick and pack is like if you're doing it yourself, £1.10 and then your shipping carrier. So again, your profit remaining from this is very low. But again, like I say, if you are having optimized 3PL, again, we know a lot of them, or again, using Fulfilled by TikTok, again, your profit margin is a little bit higher as well. So again, this is something you need to figure out as well to begin with. From our perspective, we work with a lot of brands who are Amazon sellers, again, big Amazon sellers, and they move over to TikTok Shop. And some of them want us to continue to fulfill via Amazon, which again, sometimes it makes it very costly. And again, the profits are a lot lower. So that was when we then move them over to a specific 3PL, a specific warehouse for TikTok Shop, or Fulfilled by TikTok, because again, that allows us to get that 56% improvement per order profit. So again, we're now unlocking this just by being smarter with our logistics, right? So again, this is what no one is teaching or showing you right now in terms of how TikTok Shop works. These are the fundamentals that you need to know to be able to scale effectively on the platform. So with that, more sales, more profit, right? This is kind of the phase 5. So again, discounts always feels like momentum, and again, they will generate the spikes. And again, I was always a firm believer that yes, you want to drive discounts, you want to be aggressive with that to begin with. But right now, when you start to look at it again, once you have that 30%, let's say, commission for creators, and then you obviously have a discount on top of that as well, it starts to eat into your margin even more, right? So again, if you want to do it to begin with, it's fine. But again, let's just kind of work out to the model we've kind of been speaking about previously. So again, base case, £36, profit per order at £8.10, let's say, for example. If you then have a 20% discount applied, your new AFV drops from 36, keep in mind, to £28.80. So again, this kind of recalculated all fees and costs. So the reality check now is your profit per order is £2.80, okay? Massive drop. So your profit falls from 65%. So again, yes, this is why I don't now recommend to be doing discounts all the time. Whether you want to do flash sales here and there and keep it low. But again, if you're doing high discounts on top of your commission at the same time, it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it might make sense to do one or the other, but combine it together, you're basically giving away 50% of the pie, which again, is just not doable and it's not sustainable. So again, when you look at like this here, full breakdown, New AOV turns out to be 28% 80, okay, £28.80, so I should say. Commission at, let's say 18%, £5.18. Platform fee, let's say we're averaging out 7% here. Processing fee, cogs and packaging and fulfillment, profit is £2.80, okay? So you've traded £8.10 in sustainable profit for £2.80 in promo driven volume. So again, that's why I would prefer to be scaling without doing discounts. So I say to a lot of brands as well now, because again, the caliber of brands coming on the platform are saying, do we want to be discounting? And I say, no, I don't think you need to be, because again, it might make specific for if your margins are, like say, higher, like again, health supplements and maybe some beauty products. But again, we need to make sure it makes sense. Again, if you're doing clear outs or you've got like dead stock, then again, it makes sense. But again, you can't have this be your default strategy, which again, I believe a lot of brands are doing right now. So again, you need to walk through this to make sure these numbers all make sense from that side of things. So what ready to scale looks like. So again, it looks like this. Your profit per order, you want to be around like say £7 to £10, enough buffer to absorb operational friction and seasonal variance. Because again, obviously you're going to have like deal few days, which you might need to discount down or like say Black Friday. So again, they're kind of key periods on TikTok Shop. And again, obviously TikTok Shop will always have different campaigns month to month. So you need to be realistic with your team and figure out, okay, what can we do from a discount perspective? Your net margin is 20-30%, again, healthy enough to reinvest in growth, whether platform changes and fund innovation. So again, whether that is working with creators, collabs, or outside of things as well. Make sure you get tiered commissions live, because again, you want to pay for performance, not potential. So again, making sure if you have got the budget to invest straight away to get that peak buzz, then definitely do it. But again, top creators earn more, but only because they convert better. That's what I always say from this side of things. Now, shipping, make sure your fulfillment costs are predictable and optimized ahead of time. And then promos, optional, not required. I again recommend not to do it as much as possible because it's not a big driver. So again, you don't scale hope, you scale survivability. And this is why, again, luckily for us, we're working with brands long term now, because again, we're building this into the bigger picture for them. So breaking it all down, last thing, GMV Max. So again, this is what the paid spend multiplies again, because again, you want to make sure that you are always spending on the platform, but at the same time, it's always going to be the case of being able to scale effectively, right? So again, based on this, once you've built your scale safe economics, paid media becomes more of a force multiplier. And again, you always want to run GMV Max because again, it's going to allow you to get that scalability. And that's why, again, your commission on your ad side of things needs to be a lot lower than you're giving to the creators overall as well. But again, it's more of an accelerant for broken economics if you do it wrong. So again, you don't want to be like, and again, I know it's always hard because again, when you begin, you want to have that momentum, the ROI low. But again, fragile economics, again, profit per order, £2.80. So at 10,000 orders per month, 28K total profit. So no room for error here. But again, if we're at £8.10 at 10K orders, 81K total profit, okay? So we've got buffer to reinvest. So again, this then allows us to scale our GMV Max more. We can test, we can grow, we can amplify a lot more. So this is why I always say you need to have your economics in place before running GMV Max at scale. Because if you're running it, you're getting sales coming in, but you're doing a low ROI, and then you know your profit per order is already at this, it's not sustainable, okay? But again, you want to be kind of at this level. So again, you can move it a lot quicker. So again, I would say the path to scale isn't about creativity, luck, or viral moments. It's all about building out your economics first so you can survive, and then from then onwards, the strategy from the P&L side of stuff is first, then the strategy in terms of how you execute in terms of, like say, your campaigns, discounts, creative, that side of things comes afterwards. So again, I think sometimes in some brands' minds or operators' minds, they're thinking, oh, TikTok Shop is becoming a lot easier. I just run a bot, reach out to creators, they create some content, job done. But it's not that. We're moving to that next kind of level where I think only 1% of people are thinking like this, and they're the ones that are scaling aggressively on the platform right now. So I hope all that makes sense. This is probably quite a lot to take in. I've broken it down as much as possible. And again, I want to just make it as easy. I might make some follow-up content on this as well, because again, there's a lot to go through and again, a lot to kind of break down. But as always, drop a comment below if any of this doesn't make sense or any questions you have. Again, if you want to book a call with our team to speak through in terms of how to get you started on TikTok Shop or scaling on the platform as well, there'll be a link below here as well. We are about to launch a calculator depending on the time you're actually watching this. So again, there'll be a link below to kind of sign up for that. So again, you can put in your economics and it kind of will spit out the numbers for you to kind of see what you need to be doing on the platform as well. So from my perspective, whether you work with us or not, I just want you to get the most out of TikTok Shop. and allow it to help and scale your brand in the most efficient way. So as always, thank you for watching this video. If you click around here or again, search below in terms of for any more TikTok Shop content from myself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.